Hi, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. This is Black Sack. So a couple weeks ago, I played Perigee Beckoner, the new card from Edge of Eternities, in Black Sacrifice. I didn't much care for it. Kerblinski also played it. A lot of people, in fact, have been picking up the deck because of this card, which is a great side effect of it coming around. I was not necessarily a big fan of it. It feels quite clunky. It just feels like a sorcery speed, expensive supernatural stamina. However, I can't argue with results, and Black Sack has gotten somewhere around 10 trophies in the last couple of weeks since this came out. I think that's in part just because more people are picking up the deck. We have almost 300 people in the Black Sack Discord, which you should join if you haven't. So in general, I think it's a deck that's been on the rise, but there have been a lot of trophies with it, and people seem to be enjoying it. And one thing that I did was I cut all of the supernatural staminas for the Beckoners, because it felt like, generally, I don't even like 4 staminas in my main deck, in my Black Sack decks. I prefer 3. 4 can just be a little bit too much sometimes, but what a lot of people commented on was having a stamina for the Beckoner can be nice, because you can basically scam in your 4/5 with the stamina, which is not a bad point. And since there have been so many trophies, I decided to give this one a try, and it's doing another thing that I don't really care for in Black Sack, but again, I'm just going to give it a try, which is we're doing Dark Ritual. I've tried Dark Ritual at least once or twice on the channel before, and never been a big fan of it, in part because we run so few lands because of it. So we have 14 swamps and 4 Dark Rituals. If we're able to combo, then the Dark Ritual can give us the ability to combo as early as turn 2, if we just play a feeder on turn 1, and then Dark Ritual into 2 Beckoners on turn 2. But that requires 2 swamps, a Dark Ritual, 2 Beckoners, and a Carrion Feeder. 6 out of our 8 cards need to be very specific. 2 of them need to be 2 of our 4 Beckoners. So I don't necessarily think it's the most likely, but other than that, we're mostly running a pretty standard list with Carrion Feeders, Mortician Beetles, just 3 Vampires, and we are running 8 card draw effects, Convictions, and Rights. And only 13 fodder creatures makes me a little hesitant, but again, this is the list that they were running. 3 Infestation Sage, 4 Shambler, 3 Linkbreaker, 3 Shambling Ghast. 1 Rite of Consumption, which if we get the combo off and have 2 extra mana, we could win even without having to attack, and 1 Accursed Marauder. And then our sideboard gets a little interesting too. If we're against a grindy matchup, we can side in Thorn of the Black Rose so that we can just slam that on turn 2 with a Dark Ritual and have the card advantage going. People have been talking a lot about Fairy Macabre recently. I saw a tweet from Walker735 that basically said Fairy Macabre is good against the best deck in every single archetype, the best aggro deck, best control deck, the best combo deck, the best mid-range deck. And so it seems to be a card that people want to be playing now, so we have that in our sideboard. We are playing a couple Temporal Intervention, which I haven't tried too much, to be honest. I've been working on a lot of other things, but I still have faith it will be decent. We also have 2 Mesmeric Fiends, 2 Accursed Marauder, 2 Tragic Slip, just a 1 of Duress. Kind of seems interesting that we wouldn't just be running more Fiends or Interventions, but so be it, and then a couple Life Staff. So let's take this into a league and see how we do. Well, interestingly, we did start with 2 Beckoners in our opening hand. I think this hand is quite bad, but if we get a Carrion Feeder, we could just win, and because this is what we're going for, we're going to give it a try, but I'm not loving it. A piece of fodder would make me like it quite a bit more, because we could just Conviction that and draw something else. We do have some lands. Vampire helps. We don't have a Dark Ritual yet, so this would we would need to draw a swamp, and this would be a turn 4 win. But Dimir does not usually have much interaction that can interfere with us, because Snuff Out doesn't matter. Mental Note. Dimir Terror is especially a good matchup for us. Another Conviction. Well, I'm just going to play the Vampire, and if we draw a Dark Ritual, we could win next turn. If they don't have a blocker, even if they have 1 blocker, we'll have 2 infinite-sized creatures. But if not, we'll need to find a swamp and could do it on turn 4, and they would need to be tapped out, obviously. Or we would have to go for it through a counterspell. They thought Scour 4 spells in the bin. They're going to pass. Another Village Rites. We're early, but this is definitely why I prefer 15 or 16 fodder creatures and not 8 of these. Now it feels like we can't just fully rely on this, so I could just play Beckoner, Vampire, hit for 4, sack the Vampire, it'll come back and I can draw 2. They can counter something along the way. I think we are going to try to have faith in the combo and just attack. If they tap out and we get a swamp, we can just win. So maybe they fill their graveyard, tap out for a terror or something, and then we can get there. Or a terror and a snacker. Or maybe in step we will Village Rites one of these guys, and they'll tap out to counter that. I don't know. They're just passing. Okay. I guess we don't need to do anything. Linkbreaker's good. I feel like it's going to eat a counter spell, but let's just give it a try. It's always interesting because, like, we clearly need this, but maybe it's not. It seems like it's not good enough that they might not even care for it, but they do rightfully counter it. Okay. I think Do I hope they don't have a Dispel or a Spell Pierce and I go for a Conviction on the Beetle here? I don't think so. I think we'll just try to be patient. They play a 2-mana Terror. Okay. I mean, if we just naturally draw the land, the chance that they can stop us for 1 mana is very low. If I Village Rites, they could certainly have something. And then even if we get the combo, they're going to have a blocker. I think we just go to untap. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I have plenty of these now. We're going to warp one onto the Vampire, and I'll attack. If they block, I'll sack the Beckoner, and these would trade. If they just take it, I should still probably sack the Beckoner. Yeah, because we're going to sack the Vampire to a Village Rites, because it's coming back regardless. So we'll try to get in for 5 here, and then Village Rites the Vampire. If they have Counterspell, it's not the end of the world. That works. No land, but another Beetle and a Shambler. Okay, they have an Unexpected Fangs. That's fine. And then a Gurmag? I would love that. They'd be tapping out. We still need to hit a land drop for the combo. That is what they have, though. Swing for 6. That's fine. They'll be at 16. We also just have Shambler plus Perigee Beckoner, which is, what, 7 sacrifices? So they have to chump this, and we can still get in for 10. So even without the combo, we're in a good spot here, which is nice because we don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I think Beckoner is 7, 10, so they go to 6, they can go back up to 12. I'm pretty sure we just do this. We tried our very hardest to get the combo going, and we were not able to get there. Not yet, anyway. But I think at this point we just need to play the proper cards. They don't block. I'm not sure. Either they are just resigned to lose or they don't understand what's happening. But we will sacrifice everything. We can keep a couple of these guys. That's 16 right there. All right. Well, we still had a ton of value in hand, which is kind of cool. This is a good one for Marauder and Fiend. Tragic Slip and Duress aren't bad either. I don't think we need Fairy Macabre. If they're mono blue, like Sleep of the Dead and stuff can be kind of annoying. But blue-black, I guess they might have Snackers, so maybe Macabre is good against that. I don't care too much about Snacker, though. I think as long as we just keep their creatures dead, we're good. Maybe just these 6 we'll bring in. I think I'm going to just try to keep the combo intact. They are a counterspell deck, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to cut some card draw. Gas doesn't feel great here. We'll cut a stamina. I guess I'll cut another stamina and a conviction. It's either this. I'm not cutting more than just one fodder piece here. It's either this or I have to cut Dark Rituals and Beckoners, and we're trying not to do that right now. Generally, I would also take out Rite of Consumption against a blue counterspell deck, but we just have the one, and I'm gonna try it. We do have the Dark Ritual. This hand looks like it's gonna screw us up a lot more than help us, because if it was a swamp, we'd just have a reasonable couple turns here, but we're gonna try it. I mean, if we draw Carrion Feeder, we could then do a turn 2 Beckoner Shambler. Just a Beetle. I'm hesitant to Dark Ritual here because then we're just stuck on 1 mana. So we can't Marauder, we can't Beckoner. But I could just go for the fast start and Dark Ritual into 2 Beetles and a Shambler. But if we don't draw any sack outlets and they find like a Suffocating Fumes, it's really bad. Well, I think we're going to try it. I'm going to do the Ghast instead, just in case it dies, we'll at least get a treasure. But our alternative here was just Beetle, and then next turn maybe we go for like the same thing. Like until we get a sack outlet, we don't really have anything going with these other creatures. If we find one, Shambler and Beckoner's good, but now of course we'll need more. A Thought Scour, hit a Mental Note. I mean, 3 1/1s on turn 1 is honestly not nothing. Conviction's an amazing draw. We are going to have to just use it here, though. We're not going to be able to save it for a Shambler, because I got to get more lands. We are going to sack it here to hit for an extra damage, and we're definitely going to take a treasure. So hit for 4 is pretty good. Swamp is good. Okay, so I'm going to play a Shambler. I think I save the treasure. I could do another Shambler, which could be more aggressive. But if we find a Carrion Feeder or another Conviction or something, then 3 mana is really important for the Beckoner plus the sack outlet. If they do just kind of turbo out a Terror or Gurmag, then we can just Marauder, which is pretty good. If they Bojuka Bog us, that's not a problem. We don't run Unearth, and the only graveyard synergies we have at this moment are instant speed. So Bojuka Bog, unless they have a flicker for it, is never going to hurt us. They Duress, that's a waste. Hey, if this was a stamina, they would have gotten it right there. Good to keep in mind. And then Cycle Aloria. Okay, so we get in for 5 here. I guess a Swamp wouldn't actually be bad. Yeah. If we had a swamp, I could just Beckoner Marauder to sack this just to get in for more damage. But as is, I'm just holding on to the Beckoner. Attack for 5. And I guess I'll play another Shambler. If they do have like a Suffocating Fumes, it's not great. But it doesn't kill the beetles. So if that's their whole turn, it's still not the end of the world. Arms of Hadar would be pretty bad though. Yup. Where are my sack outlets? And we get no nested Shambler tokens because they had 0 power, or even less. Well, that's bad now, and now we get our swamp, of course. Okay, if they just tap out for, I mean, I guess they have a 2-mana terror. If they just play like 2 terrors, then I can do the Beckoner Marauder. That could be decent. Extract a Confession. I don't love that, to be honest, but I can live with it, I suppose. Now they can play 2 terrors. Yep. Stamina. Stamina would let us take both their guys away. I can just Link Breaker, Marauder 1 terror away. If we get a sack outlet, we can use Beckoner on the Marauder to take the other one later. They have a Deep Analysis, that's fine. I thought it might be like a Thorn of the Black Rose or a Murmuring Mystic, and those would be far worse. Can't really attack. Carrion Feeder, finally. Part of me almost wants to save the Beckoner now. Well, I can warp it and I can just not sacrifice it and I'll actually get it back. So I think I warp this onto the Marauder, and then if they block it, it'll come back and they'll lose this. I could, it's kind of weird because I could pump it with the Mercenary, but then they would trade, which means when it comes back, they actually don't lose anything additional. So is it more incentive if I just don't? I guess I'm thinking about it a little too hard. I'd probably just play Carrion Feeder, sack it right away, it'll come back, eat this, and then I can attack for 2 with these guys. It's just there's the possibility if they don't block because they don't want to lose their guy. If I didn't play the feeder, then maybe they just take extra damage. But yeah, Marauder comes back. I could still leave this on the field and get rid of the Beckoner, but it feels like I draw a swamp. I actually want to have the Beckoner around, which I'm going to regret not getting an extra counter on the feeder / not having the Marauder around if I just don't. Yeah, maybe I should have just kept the Marauder because it's 2 damage that I have now, whereas the Beckoner is maybe damage that I have later. Beckoner definitely makes for some interesting decisions. Cycle Lorien. Shrivel. Okay. Not great, especially if they have a cast down after, but I'll sack the tokens. Or they might just have an extract after. I feel like they probably wouldn't do that unless they had something. Maybe they just have like a terror, or a Gurmag Angler. That works too. Pass. We got the swamp. Well, I think we're just playing this and we attack. They trade. We get the feeder back. It does get really small, obviously, but it doesn't look like they had a terror unless they were just holding up like a dispel. So this might be their last creature, in which case maybe just the Beckoner can get there. I mean, they probably have to block. It's not quite lethal here, but putting them to 3 is pretty bad. They don't block. Okay. Well, I'll deal them 6. I guess if they have an Unexpected Fangs, they want to keep the creature around. If they attack, I pretty much know they have the Fangs. Lorien revealed. Okay. That's not bad, but if they don't get another creature here, I just have lethal on them. Unless they get a 1-mana removal spell or something. Our opponent, not being extremely salty, so no worries about that, but says, what a broken deck. Haha. Hey, I think this is a fantastic deck, but does not get the credit it often deserves. They also said that Wizards needs to ban the Beckoner, which is an interesting take. Hey, my goal was to make it so that Black Sack was a deck people wanted to ban, and I guess we've gotten there. I guess Beckoner's all we needed. All right, on the play here. Well, almost a little flooded here with the Dark Ritual. We can turn 1 Beetle and Vampire. I guess that seems pretty good. We are on the play as well. We don't really have much follow-up with just a Ghast, but we'll see. Opponent mulls to 6. Peat Bog. Okay. Another Dark Ritual. Not what we need. I don't think I can afford to sack this yet, because if we get Corrupted Conviction or something, I really need to have this around, so we'll just attack for 2. I assume with Peat Bog, they might just be like Poison Storm, which is a pretty decent match for us because they're a little slow against our speed. Plus, we get a good amount of hand attack from the sideboard. A Beckoner would be a good draw off the top because we can actually slam it for hardcast with the Dark Ritual. Scary. So yeah, definitely Poison Storm. Rite of Consumption. We can attack, hit for 5, so not lethal, even with the right. But that probably makes any double body creature lethal next turn. Actually, maybe even a single body creature. Any creature at all would make it so this vampire would attack for 7, so not quite lethal. Yeah, so we would need double body creature or like a Beckoner because that pumps power and I guess is essentially a double body. Oh, also if they play an Infectious Inquiry and make themselves lose life, that would also mean any creature could be lethal. They start with a Prism, play a Bog. Augury. They're going to pass, but we do need to be a little wary of Snap or Weather the Storm. Shambler's pretty good. We're playing that. So this would be 1, 2, 3. So 7 damage, 11 damage, and then we could write. They don't usually run main deck counter spells, I don't think. Weather the Storm would be 9 life, which we could hit them for 11 down to 4, and then 9. So that wouldn't be lethal. They could also have a Snap. I think we're not going all in. I think I'm going to sacrifice... Shambler's so good if we get a Beckoner or a Stamina, of which we have 8 in the deck, so I think we just sack the Ghast for a little bit of extra damage this turn. Might be a waste, but I want to not go all in on one specific turn unless they're fully tapped out, which is unlikely with the Prism. Another Augury. They found their Inquiry. That puts them to 8, but we are poisoned now. Contentious Plan. Yeah, if they follow this all up with a Weather the Storm, which is my assumption, they're going to gain a lot, but they're going to pass. Interesting. Conviction is not bad. So let's see, if we just sack Shambler twice to the Vampire, we have a 5/5 and a 4/4. That's lethal. So they have to have something, and then if it's like a Snap, I can sack whatever they target and then get them with the right, but they could have another Snap or something. They could have 2 technically. They'd have to burn through their Prism. They could just have a Weather the Storm. I think we're just attacking and gonna sack the Shambler. This is just 6 damage. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Squirrel and see what they got. If I did the Conviction first on the Shambler, I could draw more stuff, but it would also potentially build up a Weather the Storm. They do have a Snap, so it's a tough call. I could just Conviction it away, but if they have another Snap for the Beetle, I can't do anything about that one. So I could just sack it to itself, hit for 5, and then try to write them, but then if they have something, it's bad. I think I need to Conviction here. Okay, those are 2 good draws. So we've cast a Snap and a Conviction, so that means if they have a Weather the Storm, they gain 9 life. If I Rite of Consumption here, if it doesn't work, then I can Carrion Feeder and Nested Shambler. They'll still take 5. It's not great. Do I need to do this now? I'm just worried if they go off next turn, then they'll have the Weather and it'll be a lot better. I think I'm just going to go for it. Rite of Consumption them. And if they have the Weather, then we can still just deploy these 2. They do have to lose their Prism for it, and they do. I miscounted, apparently. I did Write, Snap, and Conviction. Yeah, so they gain 12. Yep, because I forgot about the Weather itself. That is annoying. I'll play these 2 out. They lost their Prism, which is, I mean, pretty real. They're still only at 10. To be honest, it still might have been better than if they have all of this mana with a Weather on their turn. Like, Prism is so integral to their game plan that getting rid of it's pretty good. Lorien, okay. It doesn't even proliferate, though. And we still just are a Supernatural Stamina or a Beckoner away from having an army and an enormous creature. They play a Scary and just pass. They have another Weather up. We have a Sage. We will play that and attack. I think we'll sack both halves of the Sage, but leave the Shambler around. So hit for 4 and pass. I mean, we weren't lethal either way, so it doesn't really matter. And I want to have the Shambler for a Conviction or a Stamina or a Beckoner. Another Prism is annoying. Lorien revealed. Thirsting Roots. Snap the Feeder. If I lose Feeder, I don't really feel like I have an avenue to win. If they untap 2 here, it's pretty bad, but I think we just gotta let them do it. I mean, it lets them go with another Lorien or Vivisurgeon's Insight or just a couple more spells before a Weather the Storm. Another Thirsting Roots, and Deep Analysis. And there's the Weather the Storm. Okay. Swamp is not great, although I guess if we are able to draw 2 more Beckoners, I guess we haven't drawn any, so just 2 Beckoners, then we would have the combo. And if they can't kill us in 2 turns, maybe that's enough, but that seems unlikely. There's an Insight. There's another Insight. Another Prism. Steady Progress. Contentious Plan, Prologue to Phyresis, and Infectious Inquiry. All right. It was kind of close at one point. We do get 5 hand attack spells, take out the Marauder, take out the Ghasts. There's nothing to ping off. I think we're just hoping to combo as early as possible. Right is good too. I think I'll cut just like 1 card draw spell. All right, on the play here. No lands. This is a pretty solid hand. Decent speed. We're going to keep this one and get rid of 1 card draw spell. Just start on the Feeder. They got a Scary, another Shambler. I think we just, since we have another Shambler, I think we just sack both halves of this for the speed. Ideally, they don't just have like a Snap this early, but if they do, we'll deal with it. Island and they're going to pass. Snap could be, it could just be a counter spell. Another feeder. I mean, I'll play the Shambler, but I'm not sacrificing anything more while they have this mana up. Just try to get in for 6. That works. Do I just want to cast another feeder? Yeah, I think that's good, because then if they do snap one and we have to sack it, we have something else to have as a sack outlet. I feel like they're probably just like Augury or something here. Some cantrip that proliferates. Or they could Tamiyo's. Prologue to Phyresis, that is. Get the poison rolling. But then they don't have 2 counters on their Scary. So Steady Progress, maybe. There's the Augury. Cycle Lorien? No, they just let the other mana go to waste. They only have blue at the moment, which is good. That means they, without a Lotus Petal or something, or a Snap that untaps, they can't get like a Prism down effectively. They do have a Woodlot, but then they're just passing. Dark Ritual, I mean, that could be good depending on what we get from a Village Rites. I think we're saving the Village Rites for if they snap, although we probably want to threaten lethal right now, right? Because we have 8, 9, 10. I actually can't threaten lethal unless I draw something first. They don't have Weather the Storm mana, so actually I'm going to Village Rites this Shambler to see. We have Dark Ritual if we draw something good here. 2 more guys is pretty good. I think that would be enough even if they snap, like, well, I guess if they snap Beetle, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not quite lethal, but I think I'm just Dark Ritualing and playing our 2 guys. I guess they could also have a counter spell, but it's counter unless they pay 2 right now, probably, which isn't a big deal. Yeah, so this is 8. We're going to make it lethal, and I'm assuming they'll have the snap, which will make it so it's not quite lethal. This is 10, so we'll go to 12. They do have the snap on the Beetle. We can't let this go through. Beetle's kind of useless in our hand anyway, but also I can't let them untap the Woodlot with an enormous storm. So even though we're not going to be able to deal lethal here, because this is 7, yeah, 8, 9, 10. I guess, do I want to get in for 1 more? Sure. I want to keep this just in case, but we'll hit for 8. I mean, they don't have a lot of mana to work with, so hopefully we'll be okay here. Play a Peat Bog. They have a Contentious Plan. They can grow our feeders if they want to throw us off. They did not, though. Okay. They could just weather. Okay, yeah. We got there. Nice. We didn't even have any hand attack, so we're going to be on the draw, which is definitely worse, but ideally, if we can just find a piece of hand attack, or more. I mean, I would love 2 or 3, but even just 1 might be able to help us out a lot. Well, I asked for hand attack, and this is that. They mulligan to 6. This hand is pretty terrible, because if we don't draw anything, we'll just have 1/1/1. But I like living life on the edge. If they're already down to 6 and we can take another card from them on turn 2, it doesn't feel terrible. We do need to draw something that's not swamps, though. They just have an Augury. I like that they're doing that now. Another Village Rites could be okay. Well, we're going to attack. Hit them for 1. Draw 2. Please don't be lands. Those are pretty good. So I can get down a feeder, or I could just take a card from their hand. I think we need to take a card from their hand, because if they have like a Prism, now would be the turn to play it. Okay. 2 Inquiries, Snap, and a Plan. That's not very good, because they don't have black mana. They only have 1 Woodlot, 1 Depletion land. I think we take the Snap, just because it's the card that slows us down the most. I mean, it's the only thing they could play. Like, I could take Contentious Plan, because they can play and it just cycles and they need to draw to something else. It's kind of tough. I think it's got to be Snap, though. Like, if we can just get these down, we can win in just a couple of turns, but Snap throws us off. They plan, play an island, so no depletion land, but they do find their Prism, which means black for Inquiry. Yep, that's annoying. Fiend can take 1 Inquiry. I mean, just 1 isn't amazing. If they have another Proliferate spell, actually, I might want to take that, though. Because if they Inquiry, then they don't have a lot going on. I mean, we're definitely fiending them, right? I don't see another thing to do. I mean, I could just play Bloodthrone and Carrion Feeder, but we don't really need both of them right away anyway. So let's steal a card. They got another Woodlot. Okay, well, we're just taking a Inquiry, obviously. I mean, they're not in a great spot. We're not in an amazing spot either. We're probably still 2 to 3 turns away from winning. And if they can find more ways to slow us down, then it's going to be pretty bad. But currently, they kind of have to tap, like, yeah, Woodlot and Prism for this Inquiry. I guess maybe they could just do, yeah. But if they don't find a way to proliferate, it's pretty bad for them. If they do, it's kind of bad for us. They find a Peat Bog, so they still have a Woodlot in hand. They did find an Augur, and they're passing. We get a Dark Ritual. I mean, if we Village Rites this insect and find 2 Beckoners, we could just win. If they don't have a Snap, which they could have found one. I think we do this regardless. Just hope to get fodder. There's 1 Beckoner. I guess this is what, 7 mana, so I could just play Beckoner and Vampire. That's probably best. If this is a lot of storms, so if they have a Weather the Storm, it's not great, but they do have to burn their Prism for that, so it's not the end of the world. I could Beckoner onto the Vampire to get a counter on the feeder. I mean, I don't think we have another play, so I think we're just slamming all of this. Vampire, and here's the Beckoner. So if I put it on here, I hit for 4, but if I put it on the Vampire, I can sack it to the feeder, hit for 3, but then I have an extra counter, so it'll make up the damage next turn, and it'll make up the damage +1 the following turn. So I think it's probably better, but in response, they're going to snap the Vampire. They do burn their Prism. Okay, so I could just eat the Vampire to the feeder, which means I have 3 damage, they go to 13, and then I have 7, so it's a 2-turn clock. We know they only have 1 other card in hand. I could just let this go, because what are they going to... Well, if they untap, they have a Woodlot. If they untap and they have a Weather the Storm, it's really bad. So I don't think I can, which means I have to eat this. I don't think it's too bad to eat it anyway, but a Weather the Storm for 21 life seems pretty bad, so we just gotta hope that their 1 other card in their top deck is not amazing for them. I don't even think that was really the time they needed to snap, but I'm glad they burned their Prism. They do find an Augury. That's pretty good. They play their Woodlot, so now 2 unknowns. But they're just passing. Good sign. Another Beckoner. That is infinite, and... Oh, God. It's infinite, but if they have a snap and we go infinite on the feeder, it still ends with us just having 2 Beckoners, which is not terrible. I mean... We're just playing this regardless. I'm just wondering, do I just go for the infinite? They've already used 2 snaps. How many could they have? I mean, we gotta go for it, right? We will attack, and they have a Moment's Peace. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was something they were still playing. That's fine. I still might as well make this feeder enormous. So I'm going to do that. Every day I'm sacrificing. Clicking is my favorite hobby. Clicking is my passion, honestly. All right, so it's kind of hard to know how big I should make this because they can theoretically gain 1,000,000 life, but I decided to make it 34, which is if they get a Weather the Storm for 7, it's still going to be lethal. So they do have another Moment's Peace, so they could definitely buy enough time here, and they have a steady progress. So we're not in a great spot, I will admit. They even decide to proliferate our feeder this time. I appreciate that. Rite of Consumption would be our best draw, because that can get through the Moment's Peace. But short of that, we pretty much just have to wait it out. Thirsting Roots. I mean, Thirsting Roots isn't terrible. That's card disadvantage, so they only have 1 card left. Okay, we're not dead yet. Come on, Rite of Consumption. Infestation Siege. All right. We will play that, and I will attack with everything. I assume they just have a Moment's Peace. There's a weird world where if they also have like a Tangle they brought in, then attacking with everything's bad. But if they also just have a Snap from hand, not attacking with the Beckoners is bad. So, and Snap is a lot more likely in my opinion, so I'm just going to attack with everything. They do Moment's Peace. Hopefully they run out of gas here. That's a prologue to Phyresis. They play a Peat Bog, and they concede. Okay, we were able to combo. We didn't win on the combo turn, but we were able to get there in the end with a 35-35 carrying feeder. That's pretty sweet. We are against Kuldotha Red, which I thought they were banned, so kind of weird. Oh my god, this hand is terrible. Again, this is why I don't like 8 card draw spells. Generally, I am open to keep a 1-lander with card draw, but if I sack that and don't find other creatures, all we're doing is drawing cards. Also, what are the chances Kuldotha Red is playing a burn deck? Because this is a really bad hand against a burn deck. Sometimes, we've seen I keep some risky hands. Sometimes I would keep this one. I'm not feeling it here. This is much better. It's not amazing, but like, this hand is at least reasonable. Slagwood's Bridge. Okay, not burn. Probably Jund, in which case we want to just get a feeder down, I think. I mean, they could just like Krark, Blood Fountain, sack a thing, but whatever. Wellspring, okay. Carrion Feeder alive. Supernatural Stamina. I could just hit for 7. Oh, that is tempting. Man, I wish this was a beetle, because if we just get Bloodthorn Vampire down, I could attack for 15 with it next turn. I think we're getting down the Vampire. I guess I could have attacked for 7, and then next turn I could attack for 11. That's not quite lethal either. I think this is the best play. Just getting the Vampire down. They didn't Wildfire, so there's no Chrysalis yet. There is a Refurb, though. That is annoying. Link Breaker down. Just 2 mana up. Beckoner is interesting. I mean, if we Shambler Stamina and then don't lose the Shambler, next turn we can Beckoner it as well. I think that's just what we're doing. What are the chances they're playing, like, Galvanic Blast? Not super high, I don't think. Well, we're swinging with our guys. I assume they'll block something. Probably the feeder. They don't. Well, we're still going to just Stamina the Shambler. That's good. So we're going to sacrifice. I think we're just going to spread it out a little bit. We don't want to sacrifice this. So we have 3 more. I could hit for 9 total. They concede. Well, I was probably going to play a little cautiously, but I appreciate them just giving us the game there. Jund, we get Mesmeric Fiends, Tragic Slips. Interventions are good here. Duress is decent. Marauder's okay. Not really where I want to be. This is definitely one where we want to go fast, so I'm going to cut some card draw. Shamblers, not Nested Shamblers. Shambling Ghast is decent here because you can pick off a Refurb, but you can also pick off a Krark Clan Shaman in response to it getting Death Touch, which is very important. Right is important for the speed. Often I will keep in Marauders, or 1 or 2. Like in my sideboard guide, I keep in some, but I think when we're comboing, I just want to go for the speed. I don't think we'll do Duress, but we'll take the other 4, and yeah, I really just don't want to draw a million cards, so we're going to cut some more card draw. Oh, that's 61 cards. Well, we're doing the 61 card special, I suppose. Once again, isn't this the second time we've had Beckoner with this kind of an opener? We're going to give it a try. It's probably not great seeing as we really need to combo like early, and this is not that early. I guess we'll start with a Link Breaker. Beckoners have seemed to show up a little bit more often this league than last, which I appreciate. They have a Blood Fountain and a tap land. Carrion Feeder off the top would be good. Link Breaker. Okay. Swing for 1. Do I just Village Rites this? Yeah, I think so. I kind of want to hold it for the Shambling Ghast, but I think we need to get another sack outlet anyway, which we did not. All right, Sage it is. They don't have anything. Interesting. We get a Shambler. We don't have a sack outlet anymore, though, so I can't Shambler Beckoner. So I don't really want to throw out 3 1/1s either, because if they just have Breath Weapon, they kind of sweep everything away. I'm going to do a Ghast, and I'm going to leave it at that. And if they Breath Weapon, then I get a Treasure, and I can, like, hardcast a Beckoner. They cycle a Landscape. Well, that's way better. They have a Lembas. Okay. I'm getting the sense that they're drawing things in kind of an awkward order. Find another land. It's a lot of mountains for Jund. Village Rites. Okay. So if I'm not scared of the board wipe, I could go Shambler, Beckoner, Village Rites. But I am scared of the board wipe, and that feels probably bad, because then I sack this and then they just Krark and it's gone. I think I'm just swinging for 3, and I don't know. I kind of want to just Village Rites, try to draw for stuff again. I'm just going to Link Breaker for now. We'll see what they do. They Insight the Lembas. Okay, that's fine. 4 red mana. I assume they're tapping for a Chrysalis and they just tapped wrong. Yeah. Okay, there's Chris. I think we're gonna Village Rites this Link Breaker on the end step. Beetle and a Shambler. Come on, give me a Carrion Feeder. Dark Ritual. Well, I could play a Beckoner. That doesn't do us much good. It doesn't attack past a Chrysalis. Also, I can pump up a Ghast to be, or a Sage to be big enough to attack into a Chrysalis, and then they just block it with a Spawn. Yeah, this is not going great. I mean, I guess we just get a Beckoner onto the field, right? Dark Ritual. It's less mana. We'll have to sink into it later for the combo. We don't have any sack outlet, so I can't just get a Shambler down and go wide even if I wanted to now. I mean, I guess we'll just soup up this Sage and see what they do about it. I already know what they're going to do about it. Indeed, they block with 1 spawn. I should have maybe put down the Beetle first so it would grow with their spawn. I don't really want to put the Beetle down now because if they just have like a Krark or something, it just doesn't even grow. Spell Bomb. If that's on the field, that can interrupt an infinite combo. Cast down for the Beckoner. Okay. That can also interrupt the combo. Another Swamp. What are we doing here? I guess I'm playing the Beetle. In a world where I draw the right cards to get the combo, or maybe just get like a Carrion Feeder so I can make an enormous Nested Shambler, I would like to have a Beetle that can be really, really big. If they Krark it away, so be it. They play a Lembas and a Drossforge Bridge. And a Refurb, which I think is just going to take a Shambler. There's the Carrion Feeder. Okay, we're going to play the Carrion Feeder, Shambler, Mercenary it again, Warp in the Beckoner, onto the Shambler. Suddenly it's going to be enormous. I can just swing at the Beetle. Now it can be big enough to eat anything. They also don't block. They have a Lembas, so they're at a virtual 17. This is 5 squirrels. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Am I 1 damage short? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm pretty sure I'm 1 damage short of killing them. And unless they're playing Galvanic Blasts, that wouldn't do anything anyway. I think we can almost kill them here. I mean, we're still going to put them really low. But man, if we could have just killed them with no blocks, that would be sick. From 17. They don't have black mana, so I don't need to worry about cast down. Even if they have like a Galvanic to try to shoot the feeder now, I can keep it alive. If they have 2 Galvanics, you know what? They would get me. But it looks like they don't. Sack the Sage. I mean, I need to be aware. I'm aware of the fact that they're like a Krark kind of wipes these out anyway, so I'm treating them very expendably. Although I think I'm going to leave the Beckoner in exile. I don't think I'm going to sack that one since we don't have lethal. And I'm going to leave the Shambler in case I get the Beckoner next turn. But I'm happy to sack all these squirrels. I'm going to leave the Ghast for if they get a Krark. I don't want it to have Death Touch. Is this insect necessary? Not really. 9. And then the mercenaries are more stuff here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One final count. 16 is not lethal. All right. I think we're going to stop there. 9 damage. Still pretty good. 1 more would have been lethal. Definitely annoying. They are going to sack the Lembas. Go back up to 8. But we do have 2 lethal attackers now. Another Lembas, okay. I mean, we still have 2 lethal attackers because we can sack stuff. They scry to the bottom. Fanatical away the blood token. Play a bridge, and they're going to pass. No, they're going to cast down the feeder. That's probably that's smart. That is quite annoying. I'm certainly... Beetle's still lethal enough. I'm going to make it at least 11 because of the Lembas, but that means I don't have a sack outlet for the Shambler or for the Ghast if they find a Krark with Death Touch. So the question is, do I just sack this now to kill off the familiar so they have 1 fewer blocker? I think yes. I think that's decent because they have to chump here and then we're still getting in for like 3 or 4 or 5 or something. And then I also want the Beetle to be big enough to kill them through a Lembas. So yeah, I guess we're just sacking this now. Yeah, we're quite susceptible to Krark now. Ooh, Fiend. We don't have a way to do... If they have removal and the Krark, it's bad, or double Krark. But I think maybe we just Fiend, right? It's not amazing, but if they have the Krark and Death Touch, we have to interrupt it, or we're going to lose. So yeah, I think we just do that. It's also really mana inefficient. Oh well, they don't... They're nowhere near it, which is good. Now it feels like a waste, but oh well. I guess we're just attacking with the Beetle. I could have pumped the Shambler and attacked with that. I could still just attack for 2 more. I think I'd rather save it for the Beckoner. I don't know if that's good, but interesting play. I like it. They actually just chump with the Chrysalis because they'd prefer to have the mana because their only out is drawing to the right cards, so they might as well keep the mana to help them draw. So I think that's smart. Oh, plus they just have a Blood Fountain to rebuy the Chrysalis and the Refurb. Well, that's also another smart thing. Refurb draws them a card. They do have to sack the spawn this way. I kind of like just playing the Chrysalis and having 4 blockers. They still are going to have 4 blockers, but they're kind of wasting 1 is all. Beetle grows. Pretty irrelevant. They do have Lembas up again if need be. That's just a swamp. Well, we're playing the Beckoner this time. Onto the Shambler. They're just going to block the Shambler with a spawn. It's not going to die, so I'm just going to not pump with mercenaries and just attack with them independently. And yeah, they're going to eat a mercenary, trade for a mercenary, block both of these, maybe just take 3. Although they're kind of wasting a mana if they do this way, because they could block them both and sack them for the Lembas, but they're saving a mana if they want to do something else about it. All right, we'll pass. Map onto the Chrysalis. They find another Chrysalis on top. I mean, yeah, I guess they can just stall a long time. Fanatical, draw their Chrysalis. Play that. That also means the Beckoner can't get in now. Annoying. Come on, just give me my right of consumption. Cleansing Wildfire. We've been wanting it kind of all league, and we drew it once, I think, but definitely I like at least 2 rights for this reason. Tragic Slip kills a Chrysalis, but I think I have to save it for a Krark if they eventually find it, so that it can't have Death Touch, in which case it can't kill this. So we'll just eat 1 spawn. They do sack it this time. Makes sense. Flashback Eviscerator's Insight. Cast down the Beetle. Yup. That's gonna work. Ugh. Link Breaker. I guess we'll play that. Pass. Crack their Lembas. Wellspring. Wholesome Marasabak of Familiar. Well, they've now gained enough life that a Rite of Consumption is not going to do it unless we get another big creature. Sack some spawn. For now they have a Kark. Yup. Probably don't care to give it Death Touch anymore because of the Chrysalises. They're going to sack a Wellspring. Sack another. Yeah, they're just going to try to wipe our board. Keep theirs alive though. Which means I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to kill these because they're going to kill us quickly anyway, so I might as well just Tragic Slip this Chrysalis before... They've already sacked Eldrazi, so creatures have died. But do it before they get their Eviscerators back. Although it looks like they're already floating mana to potentially sack one of these. I think we're just losing here, unfortunately. Super close. They have Lembas, Insight the Lembas, Refurb. Cannot imagine what I could draw here to get out of this. Swamp is not going to do it. Alright, they were able to just hold off with the Chrysalises. This is kind of why I don't hate Marauder, but it wouldn't have really stopped the spawn getting in the way. But we could have at least been attacking with all of our small guys. Duress might still be good enough, because taking their hand is good. I don't know. We're on the play. Maybe on the draw I should have brought it in, but I think now we're just trying to Dark Rit into a bunch of stuff. Well, again, we have the Dark Ritual. We have kind of technically what I asked for, but this hand is terrible. Yeah, no, this one's so bad we can't keep it, unfortunately. We do have Dark Ritual into Shambler, into Village Rites, into Thoughtseize them, I guess. It is turn 1. This hand's pretty bad, too. Cannot get a good hand, but I guess we're going to keep this one and get rid of the Tragic Slip. I don't have to Dark Ritual now, and so I won't. I don't need to take their first card. The chances they play anything on 1 is unlikely, and before they play Karkland Shaman. But if I draw like a Perigee Beckoner right here, that'd actually be really good, because we could Dark Ritual into that and Village Rites. Another Dark Ritual. Well, we have to sack this, so even if we find the Beckoner or the Stamina, it doesn't work now. We attack for 1. I guess we're going to Dark Ritual, Village Rites, and we're going to Intervention if we don't draw anything else. Well, we did draw some other things. I guess I'm going to start with Intervention. See what they're working with. Okay, Cast Down, I might have to take. Although, if I take Wildfire, they're off green. But then I just don't have a way to get around this Cast Down. So it's got to be the Cast Down. That is unfortunate. Okay, so I don't think I need to Dark Ritual into the Shambler. If they top deck something that just deals this a little bit of damage, it's kind of annoying. But more than likely, they'll just play their Vault and their Cleansing. Yep, that does mean a turn 3 Chrysalis, which is pretty bad. But if I can find Stamina or Beckoner, it's pretty good here. There's Stamina. Okay. Oh, God. But I'm 1 mana short. I can't Ritual, Stamina, Nested Shambler, and Rite of Consumption, which means I have to draw another land for the Rite for next turn. But, I mean, it's still what we're doing, right? I could just play the Shambler. Actually, wait. I could play Shambler. No, because then they're going to have a Chrysalis. I'm not going to be able to get through. And then even this, which is 6, 7, is not going to be enough for the Rite. Yeah, I have to Dark Ritual now, get in, and hope that, I don't know, that it's enough for next turn. I hope that we draw a Swamp, I guess. But I don't even know if that's lethal. Well, the first Dark Ritual was kind of cool. The second one I would have much preferred a land. So we sack this. We just got to go as tall as possible. 5, 6, 7, 8. So they'd be at 11. Even if I draw a Swamp, that's not going to be lethal. So I think I just hit for 6. Because this means if I draw a Stamina and then a Swamp, I could win with the Rite in 2 turns. That's kind of a shaky plan, but I think it's our best bet. They, of course, have a Chrysalis. There's a Stamina. Oh my gosh. We still have to draw a Swamp, or I guess a Dark Ritual next turn. All right, we're attacking with the Feeder. Oh, and also this would be 6 more. Actually, that's not even lethal. Shambler with the Stamina is 6, so that's 12. So that's 1 short. Oh gosh, do I need to attack with everything here then? The chances they block all of these are unlikely. I feel like they're going to block, and take 1. Yeah, I think I have to attack with everything here to try to deal that 1 extra damage that we might need. They did block as we anticipated, so we're going to Stamina the Shambler. I don't like that I have to do the Stamina now. I would have preferred to do it on their end step, but this is what we have to do. They sack to the Chrysalis, and we're not killing their guy, obviously, so we're just sacrificing. Then our guy's blocked, so we don't need to sacrifice any more. But we get in for the 1 damage. So now, I mean, they have a Pulse of Marasa, which is life gain, But if they tap out without using the pulse for like maybe another Chrysalis or something, and then we draw a swamp, we could get there. That's still really shaky. There's a Wildfire, and they tap out for not pulse, of course. Why can't we just have everything we ask for? It just seems unreasonable. Another stamina. Well, Shambler. Okay. Another stamina would allow us to attack with everything, and if they block the Shambler, we'd get even more guys. Now our goal is just go wide and hope that they don't have a Krark. That is pretty much all we can do until we get another Carrion Feeder and a Swamp. And if they have a Krark, we're going to be toast. Wellspring, Lembas, Mountain, leaving up mana for the Pulse, although they don't actually have a target yet. They could return something to our hand if they really needed the life, but that's unlikely to happen this turn. They probably will just end up cycling something. Farmer's Familiar. I mean, I guess this right wasn't really doing us any good. That is not my favorite. Link Breaker. Yep, we're just running out of steam here. Does it even make sense to attack? We get in for 3? No, it does not. If we have any chance of winning, it's now going to be, I don't know, 4 turns away. We've lost our only right of consumption. We have 1 swamp because of these damn dark rituals. They have another Chrysalis, Insight the Wellspring, Cleansing Wildfire, and a Refurb. Oh, we got Carrion Feeder, but I don't think it even matters. The only right of consumption we have is gone. We have no other way to make it unblockable or fling it. I guess since we drew potentially the best card, I'm not going to throw it away yet. I guess the best card would have been a Village Rites into a Swamp and a Feeder. And then the next turn, we draw Village Rites into 2 other cards. Like, if we start drawing like that, maybe we have a chance, but it seems unlikely. There's a Spell Bomb. Cast down the Feeder. Yep, there's the Krark. All right, we are going to concede. That was really frustrating. So close, and I know the Dark Rituals have been okay in some of the other matches, but this is why I don't care for it too much. All right, on the play here, looks like our status overlay, our record overlay is messed up because we are not up a game and we are 2-1 now. Ooh, this hand can combo on turn 4 or 2 with the Dark Ritual off the top. So for that reason, in case we can do the meme, we have to start with a Carrion Feeder here. Usually I would not do that in the dark, not knowing what they are, because if they're anything red or anything with a removal spell for 1 mana, it's not great. But I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to potentially get a turn 2 Beckoner win. And they play an island, which, I mean, if they have like Spell Pierce, could also stop a Dark Ritual. Or if they just have like, if they're fairies and they just have a blocker, that would be fine too. We didn't get it, of course, but I mean, we still have Sage and Shambler, and then turn 3 we can Beckoner onto the Shambler, so not bad. We'll swing. I'm gonna just sack the Sage, just hit for 2, because if they're fairies, I want to have this flyer. Brainstorm, okay. Well, that means not fairies, probably. In which case, it's probably Terror or High Tide. And either way, I want to go fast. If it's High Tide, I want to go really fast. So actually, I think I will sack this the token now. If they hadn't done this right now, I would not have sacked the 1/1, because they could still be fairies with a flash flyer, like the Galeblade. But now that they televised that a little bit, I think we will just go for 3. Lorien revealed in the upkeep. Could still be either. They do have a good choice for lands here. Preordain makes me think High Tide. I don't think Terror usually plays Preordain. In fact, I know it doesn't usually play Preordain. Bloodthrone Vampire. Okay, so I could just Beckoner here. That's 7 triggers. I can attack with the 10/10. I'm probably not going to quite do that because I'm going to keep the Shambler around. Or I could just attack for 4. They're at 13. I play Bloodthrone Vampire. And then next turn I can Beckoner. You know, I don't know if that's the better play, but we're here to combo, and this still keeps us open to the possibility of comboing. And either one of them sets up a next turn lethal, so I don't mind doing it this way. I'm just not 100% sure if it's better to do this. It probably is, because we're diversifying our threats. But we're not getting in for as much damage right there. So if they have a way to stall us, maybe it's not as good. If they are High Tide, they probably don't have any way in the main deck. For a little while, they were playing Snaps, but I think we're a couple months past that. Snaps in the sideboard, I wouldn't be surprised about, but main deck I don't think is too common anymore. And if they can just go off and win here, then we're toast, probably, assuming they don't whiff. But if they don't go for it, we definitely have them, barring any interaction. Well, they're not going for it. They're just passing. Makes me a little scared. That's a swamp. I mean, we have the best of both worlds, because we not only have the combo, but we just have the Shambler. So even if they, like, counter one of these, we still can get in for lethal. But this is a work of art. Okay, and they concede. They didn't even let us show them the second one. That's rude. Okay, it's definitely high tide. They didn't have any interaction. They just conceded the moment they saw that. This means we get in our 5 hand attack spells, take out Marauder. I really don't want to get flooded with land. I really don't want to get flooded with card draw spells this time. We just need to go quick. So I think we're just taking 4 of those out. None of the rest of these help us. This is way too slow. Very macabre. They don't usually have graveyard stuff anymore. Maybe like a deep analysis, but we need to mulligan to lands, but also definitely to hand attack, because on the draw we are likely to lose even if we have a pretty like a turn 4 win. Hand attack, but again, no land because of this Dark Ritual. We have a duress. Otherwise, this hand's pretty garbage. We'll get rid of a swamp, and I think the Beckoner... I guess the Beckoner could be one more sack effect, but stamina is cheaper. I think this time we're just going to keep the stamina. I think we're going to turn to the duress. Shambler, I mean, is a good draw. We're going to go with that. Cycle a Lorien. There's no way they can go off on turn 2, at least none that I've ever seen. Turn 3 they could though, so we're going to need to use the duress before then. But they could also tap out here for a Merchant Scroll, in which case, there it is. So we can take the high tide that they're about to get, try to set them back that way. Fortunately, without any sack creatures, we're going to die pretty quick here. They do just have 1 high tide. Giga Drowse is good to know about. Peer Through Depths, Reach, and Stream. So yeah, we just take the high tide and attack for 1. Good news is they don't have a 3rd land. They only had 1 high tide. Well, they top deck the 3rd land. Lucky them. And then they're going to Peer Through Depths right now. They don't have any... I need to stop talking because I was going to say they don't have any puppetries. Well, Carrion Feeder would be so good right now. Dark Ritual is... Oh my gosh, what a card. We're going to attack for 2. We're going to play a Sage, and we now have a 5-turn clock with this stamina. I think we can get them before... I think turn 8, there's no way they're going to be able to go off before turn 8, right? Lorien revealed for an island. They also have a Giga Drowse, so make that 6 turns. Another Shambler. They going to tap them? They have the 3 mana to spend, and then we'll play a Shambler here. All right, that reduces our clock a turn. So now we're at 3 or 4 with their Giga Drowse. They Peer Through Depths again, another puppetry, and they find another Lorien. I mean, they're top decking a bunch of islands, which is going to be good eventually, but we know their hand, I'm pretty sure, which is currently only 1 card draw spell. Another Shambler. We will attack for 4. Now we have a 2-turn clock even without the stamina. They need both a high tide and some more card draw though, because Reach Through Mist is their only card draw currently. Although they now have a card we don't know about. They're going to Giga Drowse us finally? Yeah, looks like it. Tap all 5 of our guys, or maybe 3 of our guys in our swamps. Yeah, just tap our 5 creatures. Okay, that's their 5 mana Fog. We get a swamp. I mean, if they keep drawing poorly, maybe we have a chance, but feels like we're gonna fall just a little short. That's another island. That's a Mesmeric Fiend. Okay, that's good. I can take... They have another Giga Drowse? Reach Through Mists. Right. Can splice their puppetries. Okay, that's still fine. And I'm gonna get to fiend them afterwards. If they found another reach, they could do it again. All right, we get in for 3. Still our clock isn't thrown off because of the stamina. And now we get to fiend them. And they used reach. We're gonna take a high tide if we see one. Snap or Hidden String. So they have all mana. I think we have to take snap because this means we have them dead this next turn. Yeah. Whereas if we don't, they can snap whatever we stamina, and that keeps them alive for another turn. So they're passing. They found another Reach Through Mists. Yup. Okay. That's still... No, that's not lethal. I was 1 off. Okay. I guess a stamina off the top would be good. No, they have another reach. Oh, Peer Through Depths and tap 1. Okay, that means another stamina would still do it. Come on, stamina or a Beckoner off the top for the win, and they find a high tide. Come on, let me... Oh, God. I hate it so much. I hate it more than a swamp. All right, we are attacking for 3. I think the chances that I should stamina now... I think I'd rather just keep it as a surprise. They found a high tide. Do they have enough card draw? I mean, they have to go for it pretty much regardless. But if they have no card draw at all, it doesn't really matter. Looks like they're passing. Okay, if they have... I guess they can also cast a puppetry, right? So if they have like another reach and then a cast a puppetry... they can maybe survive, but they have to tap 5 of these. They think they only have to tap 3. And we finally find our Carrion Feeder. Well, I'm gonna play that in case it matters, which seems unlikely. But if they have like a snap, it could. I guess also if they splice puppetries onto things, they do have a snap. Okay, put the Fiend back. They take their other snap. If they cast like a Reach Through Mists, which doesn't target, and then try to target something with the puppetry and I sack it in response, then they'll actually lose their card draw too. So, okay, they can snap again. They're gonna cast a puppetry, splicing a puppetry. So they're losing one of these, but they tap two of these. And they have a snap in hand. So Stamina's not gonna get there, but we can fiend them first. Okay. So Dark Ritual finally doing something. It's gonna let me Mesmeric Fiend to take the snap. Do I even... Yeah, I guess I want it gone permanently, right? Because I could maybe even take the High Tide if we really need. If they have like double snap here. If they have some way that keeps them alive, then I'll just take the High Tide. Okay. They have High Tide, Hidden Strings, Puppetry, Snap, and a Stream of Thought. Which means I take Snap. They could puppetry one of these down, and then I can get in for 4 either way with the Stamina. So yeah, we just take Snap. We attack, and we Stamina the Shambler for lethal. What a crazy game. I mean, they drew very poorly, I fully admit, but glad that we got there anyway. All right, once again, this is round 5. Our record counter's messing up a little bit. Doesn't want to show that I lost a match, but I did, in fact. This hand is... Again, I cannot argue with results. Clearly, this list and some list like it, running like 4 Beckoners and 4 Staminas, has been working. But this hand is trash. And the reason is because we have 2 supernatural stamina effects, which are only reliant on other cards, and we have 2 Village Rites, which are reliant on other cards. We're playing at least 16 of these types of effects that need something else on the field to be relevant. And then we draw a hand like this, and I just can't keep it. This hand is really bad. And then we get this one, and it's okay, but I'm probably going to regret keeping the 1-land Dark Ritual again. But we can Shambler turn 1, and then Beckoner, Dark Rit, Beckoner, Village Rites at turn 2, which I think we'll do. So I think we're going to get rid of the Link Breaker. Yeah, I'm not going to Dark Rit turn 1 because I could Beckoner, but I couldn't then Village Rites, so that would be a waste. And they are on Spy combo, it looks like. If we draw like a Carrion Feeder or a Vampire, which I guess we need a Swamp for as well, but like after we draw 2 here, we could maybe beat them in the race here. Oh, I don't get in for 3 though. Yeah, God. This is why another reason I don't like Dark Ritual. I can do the Beckoner combo, which I'm going to do because there's nothing else to do. But I either get in for... I can't Beckoner hit for 3 and then Village Rites, so I might as well hit for 1 and then do it. But that's just a minor thing, but 2 damage is not irrelevant. We're going to warp onto that, Village Rites the Shambler, make a bunch of guys, and no land. This warps away, and I mean, if we top deck, they play a Battlement. Now a top deck Dark Ritual would be great because we can Stamina the Shambler and then Marauder this away, make more guys. But instead, we're on 1 mana now. Well, we're attacking and we're playing a Sage, I suppose. If I could make this Stamina deal lethal to the Overgrown, I would, but I cannot. Land Grant, show us their hand. They don't have 2 Saga Wildlings, that's a bug. They have a Forest and an Axebane Guardian. Well, if they block with the Axebane, we can Stamina to kill it. But first, they have an Elven Farsight, reveal a Generosent, and Quirion Ranger untap the Battlement. I guess that would just let them cycle these. That's not really what they need to be doing, or want to be doing right now. Yeah, so they will just pass. We get a Link Breaker. We will attack with the team. They do block, and other than... The only other thing we have is a Link Breaker, so I will take this opportunity to kill the Axebane. Slow him down a little bit, but if they just find Spy, we're going to be dead. Wildling for a Swamp. Another opponent with a good choice in basics. Gotta respect that. Cycle the Generosent. I mean, that's probably all their basics. Untap, and that's a Spy. I'm just going to assume they have no lands left, and that they have at least 1 additional giant in the graveyard. And we are dead. Alright, we do have Fairy Macabre. We have... I've been told from people in the Black Sack Discord that killing the creatures is a lot better than hand attack here, which I think makes sense. Certainly Temporal, putting it into the graveyard is not good. It feels like still getting a Fiend is probably not a bad idea, but this is 8 cards to bring in, plus we have another Marauder, so can I afford that? Part of me wants to cut the Dark Rituals because I don't think this... I mean, if we are able to turn 2 combo, like, that'll work. But in general, I think they're just screwing us up. But we only have 14 swamps, so I can't really even afford to do that. So I think we're cutting these Convictions. Combo is not bad here because each creature that we have that grows would be an Abyss every single turn, and that's surely to win us the game, probably. So I think we keep the Beckoners. I guess we'll cut... couple Stamina, a couple Ghast. Ghast can pick off Quirion Rangers, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try it like that. On the play, one lander, we have a Carrion Feeder, and then a Sage. We do have a Fairy Macabre. Could that just win us the game? I mean, if they go for it, we exile both giants. I think, probably. But if they just go for the beatdown instead, it's pretty bad. I mean, we technically have the Beckoners, but we don't have enough lands, and I'm not confident we're going to draw them, so this hand looks bad to me, unfortunately. Okay, we still have the Macabre. This hand's still a one-lander with no card draw. I know I got rid of card draw, but still. I guess we're going to keep this one. And I don't know. Is Fiend bad? Fiend our worst card? Probably. All right, we'll start with the Shambler. I mean, ideally, they just go for the combo again, and Fairy Macabre gets us there. But that's no guarantee. They land grant. They do have Spy, Fiend. That's annoying because that can take Macabre. They land grant again, which should be illegal because it makes things really difficult to read. They did get these two for us because they cycled the Genersat, so that's gone. They only had one Gatekeeper, one Balustrade, one Mesmeric. This should be their hand, which means they have no black mana at the moment. They're going to play a Gatekeeper on turn 2, though. I guess I play the Beetle because if we get a land, I can Marauder, and that'll grow it. But the fact that they have a Mesmeric for the Macabre is pretty bad. There's the Gatekeeper. Carrion Feeder is not terrible. We will play that in attack. They block the Shambler. Do I sacrifice it? I wish this was a Link Breaker. Why didn't I play the Link Breaker first? No, I'm just going to keep it. I guess if they just get another land cycler... Okay, they just play an Axebane Guardian. Like, they could potentially... Yeah, they could potentially Fiend and Spy next turn. Although they need to find one more land, I think. We get a Swamp. That's good, because that means I can Marauder one of these away. I mean, obviously it's just the Gatekeeper. Not the best. I'm going to keep the Marauder on the field in case I get a Stamina or a Beckoner and I want to use it again. We'll attack for 6 now. They are going to block? Okay, yeah, that seems crazy to me, because I would definitely sack both of these to eat that. This is 6. I can make it 8. I can make it lethal next turn anyway. I'd rather keep the Marauder just in case. They play a Swamp. They can't go for it this turn. They could just, yeah, Axebane and Fiend. 2 Axebanes. Okay, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can force them to lose one of those. We get a Fiend. That's pretty good. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, but if we use that, we actually don't force them to lose one of these this turn. That's pretty bad. Huh. I can take a Spy. I can take the Fiend so that if they go for it, I have the Macabre. But if they have another Spy or another Fiend, well, I guess I just take the other one. It's fine. It's kind of mana inefficient to play the Link Breaker too. I think we're playing the Fiend, even though I'd really like to force them to lose one of these guys this turn. But so it goes. Spy, double lead the Stampede, and Mesmeric Fiend. Well, that's not great. So they have 9 mana, 13, so they can definitely lead, find a Cycler, and Balustrade Spy. Okay. Unless they get really unlucky, I think we're just dead. We could take the Fiend so that hopefully they don't find another one, and they go for it, and we just have the Macabre. I think that televises what we're doing, but I think it might be the best play. Because we could take the Spy, but then they just lead into another Spy, and they win. Same with the Fiend, but if anything, they might have fewer Fiends. I could also just take a lead the Stampede, but then they just could have the win. Lead, find one Cycler, Fiend, and Spy. That's bad. It's got to be Spy or Fiend. Spy, they have to find another Spy. If they do, they just win. I don't know. I think Fiend, again, I think it televises what we're doing, but I also kind of think it's the best play. They just take it. There's no reason to sack. It's 10 either way. And we'll see if they get us. They start with a Farsight. That's not a bad top deck, because they could even leave them all on top if they're all creatures to make sure that they hit off of one of their leads. But they put all 3 to the bottom, reveal a land grant. Well, I guess that seems decent. Now they lead the Stampede. We know one of them's a whiff, but they find another Fiend, Gatekeeper, Sagu, and a Fairy Macabre. Yep, Gatekeeper finds their last land. Then they play Mesmeric, take our Macabre, and then they Spy. All right, well, we lose, unfortunately. I mean, I think that maybe was just a toss-up. Obviously, there, if we took the Spy, maybe it would have been fine. But I think they had enough mana to cast the other lead, too. So, I mean, the deck did some cool things. We were able to combo, I think, twice, maybe 3 times. Comboing a lot, for sure. But we also got absolutely screwed a couple of times with the Dark Rituals. If you like them, that's great. I'm just not a fan. I don't really like the Feast or Famine, where, like, maybe we can get a turn 2 win, although clearly that did not ever happen for us. And feels very, very unlikely because, again, you need 6 specific cards out of 8 cards that you can draw. I guess 9 if you're on the draw, but that just seems unlikely. And then we got screwed over by just having 1 swamp several times that I think if we just had 2 swamps, we would have done better, if not won those games. So I do think maybe there is a little more to the Beckoner than I was giving it credit for. I also know people were talking about stamina-ing the Beckoner to scam it. We didn't really ever see that come up. But I'm not saying it would never come up, and having a 4/5 could be good. And obviously you don't even lose the stamina effect because you get another one off the Beckoner. So like, in fact, maybe there could have been a time where I missed that because I was not thinking about it. I'm not sure, but I'm sure someone will let me know if I did. So I would probably swap. I mean, I think for a very easy swap, I would take out the 4 Dark Rits, put in 3 more swamps, but 18 is not terrible with trying to go for the combo, but I want another Rite of Consumption in. So I think that's the easy change that I would make personally. And no, you're not going to get a turn 2 win, but I think you're going to get more reliable turn 3 and 4 wins. That's just how I feel about it. I'm certainly going to keep testing the deck. If Perigee Beckoner becomes the thing to do, I will likely include it in my new stock list, and I will update that. I do have a 50+ page guide to this deck, not this list specifically, but my stock list, which has served me pretty well. And if you're interested in picking that up, there's a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my $10 and up patrons, Howard Granger, Lars, JMW, Josh Greninger, Rafa Rodriguez, and JDNPX. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.